Hi, a very good day to all the students, boys, girls, and others. My name is Deepak Joseph, and I will be handling the English subject for class 8 students. So, before we start off studying about what the subject is, a small tip regarding why do we all study different languages. Languages help us to communicate in a better way. The more better you are at a particular language, the more you can express yourself so that others can understand. And if you look at all the great people who have lived since time immemorial, you will notice most of them were great speakers, speakers who could connect with a large number of audience. So, keeping this in mind, having an understanding that whatever we study now will help us immediately as well as in our future. So we will go lesson by lesson, and the first lesson that we have for today is called the tattered blanket. Uh, Stories are generally something that would excite students. As a kid, even I used to love listening to stories. They kind of stories generally express our imagine we can imagine in our own way. Stories tell us things in a very simple form that we can understand and get the meaning out of it. So before I go ahead and start reading the lesson, what I will do is in a very small uh, gist, I will try to compress the whole story and tell it to you all. So once you get the broad outline of the story, you understand what it is about, then we will go reading it paragraph by paragraph, and we will try to understand how the author expresses. So we all must understand one thing. We can think about many things in our head, but how do you translate whatever you're thinking to another person? The best way to do that is through communication. The better you communicate, the better the other person will understand. So, moving on, the title of the story is called The Tattered Blanket. So, this word tattered might look new to us, but what tattered generally means is tattered refers to something which is old, torn, and worn out. So, you can use this word for a blanket, you can use it for let's say for clothes, for textiles. You can even refer to it as a tattered house. It's almost a broken house. Okay. So, moving on with the story, we'll find that there are three people, or let me rather say three characters. It's as good as watching a movie, how you have different characters. So, there are three characters in this movie. You have one called the Amma, and then another character called Kamala, and another is Kamala's brother. Kamala's brother called Gopi. So these are the different characters. These are the only three characters we have in the story. We do not have anything more than that. So now I'll try to compress the story and tell it in my own way. Everyone can express the same stories in different ways. I will try to express it in my own way. So this in this story, Amma is the mother of Kamla and Gopi, which means that Kamla and Gopi are brothers. So the story starts off like this. Their Amma and Kamla stay in a house, which is their own house, and I think it's a regular morning where they are sitting out of the house in the veranda and just looking out and talking to each other. And then they notice a car coming in. So once the car comes in, Amma, who is very old, Amma is 80 plus years old in the story. So you can imagine anyone who's older than 80 years, they the cognitive abilities, the strength of seeing, listening, trying to understand who it is, it goes down as we progress in age. Our abilities, our strength, our immunity comes down, and this is the natural cycle of life. So Amma is someone who is 80 years plus, so that means she is above 80 years. We'll get to know her exact age when we go through the story. She's around 83. And then Kamala and Gopi could be people who are married, middle aged. You can say people between 35 to 50 to 60 years. People just in their middle age and prior to retirement. So what happens is this Amma is sitting outside, and then she notices a car which comes and parks outside the gate. And as usual, here we are referring to her as Amma, but if as students, if we would have to refer to her, we would probably use the word granny or grandmother. So what happens is when Amma looks at the car, she gets a little frantic, in the sense not upset, but she's curious to know who is there in that car, why has that car come here. So from that car a person comes out, and his name is Gopi. Gopi is also Amma's, not also, Gopi is Amma's son, and Kamala is Amma's daughter. So with age, Amma is unable to recognize who this person is. So Kamala tries to tell Amma, this is Gopi who is come to see you. And then Amma still struggles to recognize. Then Gopi himself comes towards Amma. He says, Amma, it's me, Gopi, don't you remember me? Then Amma tries to recollect her senses, and then probably she does not remember him completely, but she remembers him a bit. And then while all this is happening, Gopi actually comes to his hometown. Now you all should understand one thing over here. Gopi is not staying with Amma and Kamala. Gopi is married and he has his own family. They are living in Delhi, and Amma and Kamala are living in Kerala in a place called Trivandrum. Okay, so uh, after a while, Kamala and Gopi start talking like brothers and sisters. Kamala tries explaining to Gopi that her the as her age is progressing, as she's getting older, she's losing more and more of her memory. It becomes tough sometimes. She's unable to recollect many things. She's unable to recollect faces. Because I am here with her, probably she sees me every day. She recognizes me much, much better. So, while this conversation is going, there is a strange thing that happens between Kamala and Gopi. Because Kamala tries to tell Gopi that I have to lie to Amma saying that you write letters every day. But in fact, Gopi does not write letters every day to Amma. Okay. So, when Kamala is asking Gopi, I have to lie to Amma saying that you write letters every day, Gopi responds by saying that uh, I know that I'm not writing letters, but things have been very tough for me. I've been working hard. I have 4 kids. He talks about his family. He talks about there is no time, there is no family space. So, all in all, the picture is Gopi shows a story or portrays himself as he is very busy, a very busy person who doesn't have the time to write a letter to his mother. And the reason, and Gopi is coming to meet his mother after 5 years. You must understand, for a mother who's aged 83 to not see a son for 5 years is quite a huge thing. It can literally bring down their emotions. So Gopi goes to see her mother after 5 years, and then in the conversation with his sister, he comes up and he explains his hard work, his suffering. He says at one point in the story that he's trying to make ends meet. What does that mean? I mean, whatever he is earning, he's struggling really hard to feed all his kids and to keep his family under one roof. In the sense, to get things going every day to make sure that there is food, there is money to pay the fees for the kids, money to pay the electricity bill, and so on and so forth. So, in this, Gopi decides, not decides, he tells Kamala, "I I would like to sell my share of the property." Now, remember, Kamala and Amma are living in the same house. Okay, and technically speaking, there's nothing written about law over here, but technically speaking, when Amma passes away, the house would be divided in two parts for Kamla and Gopi, as they both are the kids. Unless and otherwise, Amma has written a specific letter saying that I would like this house to go to someone else. If that is not the case, the house would be equally divided between these two people. And Kamla was surprised when she heard that. Kamla was like, "You hardly come to see mother nowadays, and now that you have come over here, all you want to do is you want to talk about selling the property." Then at some point, Gopi gets a little agitated, not very much, a little agitated, and he tells Kamla, "Anyway, mother doesn't remember me. So, what's the point? Mother, anyway, even when she looks at me, she's unable to remember me. She does not know my wife's name." And to this, Kamla responds, "Do you remember Amma?" And that's how the story ends. So, if you notice, the story has it ends with a question mark. So it refers, it says, I mean, it ends by Kamla asking Gopi, "Do you remember your Amma?" Now, what do we understand by this? This is not the literal meaning of remember. So, obviously, Gopi remembers his Amma. Gopi would remember his Amma's name also. He remembers the place. But when Kamla asked this question, she asked this question in a way to tell Gopi, I mean, you need Amma for the property, but do you actually remember her? Do you think about her? Does she come in your thoughts? Things like that. So it's got a very emotional ending. So if you look at this, the story, it's not much of a story, it's more of a drama where you have characters sitting, they're trying to express themselves to each other. So I hope what I've told you all about this story, you have got the broad meaning of it. It's okay if you did not understand. Now I will go and read this. I will read the story to you all, and then we'll try to understand the language that they've used. And please notice few things when I read. Where there are commas, full stops, where there is quotations. So notice how I pronounce the words, okay? So that when you read it next time, I hope you all will try to follow the same pattern, okay? So going ahead, once we read each para, the words that seem quite tough or we do not understand, I will explain that to you. Okay, so the notes would be up on your screen. As I'm reading, please look at the screen and look at each and every word. Okay, so let's start. The tattered blanket. When he arrived unexpectedly at his home in the countryside in his office car and got down at the gate, his mother, who was lying in an armchair on the veranda, made a futile attempt to get up. So, this is the first para. So, first let's look at the words that we think are a little tough. Armchair. So, as the word refers to any chair which has a place on it for your arms to rest. So if you actually look at the image over there, you can notice Amma with that white and grey hair. If you notice, a arm is resting on a piece of wood on the chair. So that is called an armchair. You will notice chairs which do not have armrest. So they are not called armchairs. This is the one which is called armchair, the one in the picture. On the veranda. What's the meaning of a veranda? Veranda is an open place outside your house, but which has a rooftop. So when you say you're sitting out in your veranda, you have protection from the sun or from the rain by having a rooftop, and it's an open place. Okay. So most of the houses in the villages, you will notice people generally come in the evening and sit out they might have a small piece of stone or a sledge outside where they sit and talk. So that can be referred to as veranda. And then there's another word called futile. Futile means something that is not capable of producing results, something which is useless, you can say. Okay, pointless. So if I had to use this word in another meaning, how will I use it? I can say I made a futile attempt to convince people when I knew they would not be convinced. I made a futile attempt to convince people about coronavirus. That means the attempt that I made was useless. Okay. So in this first para, what do we see? Unexpectedly a car arrives. So that means when you do not expect, it was all of a sudden a car had arrived. It was in the countryside. So countryside is when you travel from city to a village. As you keep moving out of the city, you notice this greenery which comes in, hills, mountains, trees, fields, agricultural land. So that refers to countryside. So moving on, let's move to the next para. So after this car has arrived, this is what happens. Kamala, there is somebody at the gate, she said. Somebody is in a car. So if you notice the things that are there in the quotations, the single quote, Kamala, there is somebody at the gate. So this is Amma telling Kamala, there is somebody at the gate. Again in quotes, somebody is in a car. Kamala, her eldest daughter, a widow, was sitting huddled up on the tinna on the veranda, her head and ears covered with a thin bath towel, got up reluctantly, walked slowly to the gate, and screwing up her eyes, peered into the darkness. Okay. So in this para, what do we get to know? We get to know Kamala, her eldest daughter. So that means between Kamala and Gopi, Kamala is the older child who was sitting huddled up. What's the meaning of huddle? Huddle is when you get things closer. Now, for example, uh, let's say in a cricket match, you all will notice before the team players go and start their performance, they all come and form a circle. They put hands around each other and form a circle. So what do you call that? You call that the team is huddling up together. Okay, so when we work in IT companies also, when we have groups, when we want to discuss something quickly, we say, come on, let's all huddle up. So that means let's all come closer, let's discuss this and then move on. And this refers to huddle when you're in a group. What does it mean when I say Amma huddled up? That means Amma brought her legs and hands closer to her body. You come closer to yourself. You sometimes do that when you feel cold as well. So over here it refers, it says, I'm sorry, Kamala, her eldest daughter, a widow. So we also get to know that Kamala is a widow. A widow means one of the spouse who's lost her husband. When wife loses her husband, you call them widows. Who was sitting, Kamala, her eldest daughter, a widow who was sitting huddled up on the tinna, on the veranda, her head and ears covered with a thin bath towel, got up reluctantly. What's the meaning of the word reluctant? Reluctant refers to something that you are not sure of. So, for example, if I ask some student who is an expert in biology, if I ask him to talk about Sanskrit, he'll feel reluctant because he is not sure of biology, so he'll not feel confident to talk. So that's the meaning of the word reluctantly. So over here it says that got up reluctantly. That means Kamala got up from a chair, not actually wanting to get up, but it's like someone is forcing her. Walked slowly to the gate and screwing up her eyes, peered into the darkness. So what do you mean by screwing up her eyes? We generally do this when we try to notice things far off. Our eyes becomes closer, we bring them together and we try to focus on things that are far off. So that's the meaning of screwing up her eyes. Peered. Peered means it's as good as staring into the darkness. Okay. So in this paragraph, what do we get to see? You get to know Kamala is a widow, okay, and who was sitting huddled up on the tinna. Tinna is the same place of that, the veranda that we are talking about. Okay, her head and ears covered with a thin bath towel. Why would people generally cover their head and ears? There could be two reasons. One is she had a bath, or the other thing could be you're feeling cold. Okay, got up reluctantly, walked slowly to the gate. Okay, let's continue next. So, she saw a bald, fat, middle aged man walking in through the gate. Okay. Bald. Bald refers to people who have less hair or probably no hair. Okay. So, you all would have seen many of them in your day to day life. Ho Gopi, she said in her grating voice, why this sudden, unexpected visit? I'll continue reading 3 4 lines and then we'll try to understand what's happening. So I'll continue from the start. She saw a bald, fat, middle aged man walking in through the gate. Oh, Gopi, she said in a grating voice, why this sudden, unexpected visit? Then from the next line, Kamala, who is it? Her mother asked loudly from the veranda. Gopi, the man said, there was a meeting in Tiruvananthapuram. I just dropped in on my way back. Who? Kamala, who is it? There was a note of alarm in Amma's voice. Amma, why are you so scared? Kamala, Gopi's eldest sister, asked her a little awkwardly, as if you are seeing Gopi for the first time. Amma, it's me, Gopi, he said again. He bent down and brought his face to her wrinkled cheeks. Amma, it's me. Gopi, Kamala, I can't believe it. Has his school closed for vacation? Okay. We'll stop till here and we'll try to see what was happening. So if you notice in these past few lines, it was more of a conversation. So you notice a lot of quoted words coming under quotations, and you can notice lines where Kamala said this, Gopi said that, Amma asked this. So this is more of a conversation. So let's continue. She saw a bald, fat, middle-aged man walking in through the gate. So as I said, Gopi and Kamala can be referred to as middle-aged people. Okay. Oh Gopi, she said in a grating voice. What's the meaning of grating? Grating is generally referred to as something which sounds harsh, something that is not pleasant. That's what you would call as grating. Let me give you an example. Uh, uh, if you students have been to the kitchen, you all will notice sometimes your mothers or other people in the kitchen, while they are trying to cut the carrot or the coconut, they try to shred it into thin pieces like threads. So what they do is they take the carrot and put it on a particular thing and then keep scraping it. So you hear that sound, that's called grating. So when you grate a carrot, you get shreds of them. Okay. So when you refer to grating to a voice, it means that the voice is sounding very harsh and unpleasant. Oh Gopi, she said in her grating voice, why this sudden unexpected visit? So this is what Kamla says. Kamla, who is it? Her mother asked loudly from the veranda. So as I said, Amma, who is very curious to know who has come, she is literally screaming from the veranda and asking Kamala, who is it? Gopi, the man said. So that means Gopi, the man said. So Gopi is telling to Amma. Gopi is telling to Amma, Amma, it's me, Gopi. There was a meeting in Tiruvananthapuram. Tiruvananthapuram is the capital of Kerala. There was a cut. I'm sorry. I was just trying to check if Thiruvananthapuram was the capital of Kerala, and yes, it is. Okay, there was a meeting in Thiruvananthapuram. I just dropped in on my way back. What do you mean by this phrase? I just dropped in on my way back. So let's assume that we are traveling in from Tandur to Hyderabad. So one of my friends stays in Vikarabad. So what happens while I travel from Tandur to Hyderabad? I go through Vikarabad, and I might just want to go and say hi to my friend. So that time you can use phrases like I just dropped in to check how you are. Okay. So I just dropped in on my way back. So that means there was a meeting which Gopi had attended the meeting, and on the way back he has come to meet Amma. Who? Kamala, who is it? There was a note of alarm in Amma's voice. What does that mean when you say there's a note of alarm in Amma's voice? When you say alarm, it means it refers to as caution. So when your eyebrows go on top and you're a little bit worried, who is it? I mean, that alarm, it's a caution. It's kind of a caution. Okay. Amma, why are you so scared? Kamala, Gopi's elder sister, asked her a little awkwardly. What does awkwardly mean? Awkwardly is putting you in a place where you're not comfortable. I'll just give you all an example. Let's assume that there's a dance function going on. You started dancing and the music abruptly stops. So what happens? You just get stuck in between the stage, right? You feel awkward at that time. It's like embarrassing. You get embarrassed and awkward. So, so Amma, why are you so scared? This is what Gopi's elder sister Kamala is telling awkwardly to her mother, as if you are seeing Gopi for the first time. So Kamala is telling mother, Amma, why are you so scared? I mean, Gopi is your son. Why do you sound like you're seeing him for the first time? He is your own son. Then continue reading. I'll continue reading. Amma, it's me, Gopi, he said again. He bent down and brought his face close to her wrinkled cheeks. Amma, it's me. What do you mean by wrinkled? As people grow older, you'll notice their skin starts to fold over each other. Okay. Okay. Another example would be when you do not iron your shirt, it looks wrinkled. So when you take a shirt and wear it without ironing it or pressing it, you will find all these folds on your shirts. That's called wrinkle. Okay. So let's continue. Gopi, Kamla, I can't believe it. Has his school closed for vacation? So this is what Amma tells. So with this you get to know Gopi is also working in a school, because Amma is asking, has his school closed for vacation? So now I will continue reading the new paragraph. Amma is often like this these days. She doesn't recognize anybody, Gopi's sister explained. But sometimes her memory is quite sharp. Then she asks me if you have sent any letter. I tell her everything is fine with you, Vimala, and the kids. What is the point of telling her that you haven't written for a year? Poor thing, I wouldn't dream of making her unhappy. So, in this one paragraph, we understand what kind of relationship is there between Kamala and Gopi. Okay, Kamala is trying to tell Gopi that as she is getting older, she doesn't recognize people. It becomes more and more tough for her to recognize people. But sometimes her memory is quite sharp. So it doesn't mean that when people, excuse me, so it doesn't mean that when people grow old, they forget everything. It happens bit by bit. First, they start to forget far off people, then it keeps moving on. But sometimes her memory is quite sharp. Then she asks me if you have sent any letter. So, in this, you can understand Amma is eagerly waiting for a letter from Gopi. But then, to, to not make her unhappy, That is, Kamala doesn't want to disappoint her mother, so she lies to her mother saying that Gopi is fine, even his wife Vimla and the kids, everyone are doing good. But this is a lie that she tells to her mother to keep her happy. And by the way, what is the name of the disease when people grow older and they lose memory? That's called Alzheimer's. Moving on. I got a promotion last year. After that, I am always on my toes, and there are toes quite often. I don't get any time to write letters. Guys, notice over here there is something called toes, T-O-E-S, which refers to the fingers on your feet. And then tours, T-O-U-R-S, tour. I went on a Holy Land tour. That means there's a place where Christians believe it to be called holy. So I went and visit. That's called touring. I went touring to South India. For the last summer, I went touring to the Himalayas. So touring is when you travel. So it says I got a promotion last year. So this is what Gopi says. I got a promotion last year, and after that I am on my toes. What does it mean? What does this phrase mean? I am on my toes. When you say I'm on my toes, you're alert, you're ready to move about, you're always constantly moving from one place to another place working. So it kind of portrays a picture that you are busy. And there are tours quite often in the sense there are more and more tours. I don't get any time to write letters. So you can say that probably the reason why Gopi does not write letters is because he is quite busy. He is touring around. He is touring to different places. Okay. Why don't you ask Vimla to write, or doesn't she get any time to? So you can notice this is the line that Kamala is asking Gopi, and she is being a little sarcastic by saying, okay, I understand that you are busy, but why doesn't your wife Vimla also write any letter? Is she also busy? So at this time, Amma is asking, what are you mumbling over there? Amma said loudly. What's the meaning of mumbling? Mumbling is when you're talking, when you're not talking something clearly. So when you start to talk very softly, uh, when other people can't understand you. So that's called mumbling. So sometimes we will notice that students keep mumbling in the class. When students are sitting and the teacher hasn't come, they try to sit and keep talking to each other softly. Okay, so it makes it difficult for the other person to understand what they are talking. So Amma at this point asks, what are you mumbling over there? Amma said loudly, I heard somebody coming in a car. Who is it? I told you it's Gopi. But Gopi is in Delhi, isn't he? Yes, Amma, it's me. I've come from Delhi. So if you notice over here, after that, after Amma is asking, why are you guys mumbling over there? So it's more of a conversation where you notice that Amma is again asking the same question. Who is it in the car? Uh, then Kamla says it's Gopi. Again, Amma is asking, isn't he in Delhi? Already this conversation has happened before, but the same thing is repeating again because Amma is she's unable to recognize. Next, who did Gopi marry? Amma said, lowering her voice. I mean, what's his wife's name? So, Amma doesn't even remember who Gopi had married. Okay. Don't say you've forgotten her name too. Don't you remember? Vimala, District Collector Nambayar's eldest daughter, Gopi's sister said. Oh, I forgot the name. Was there a letter from Gopi today? So over here if you notice, Amma doesn't remember Gopi's voice. So Gopi's sister tries to tell Amma, don't you remember Gopi's wife? Her name is Vimala. She is married to the district collector Nambayar's eldest daughter. So for this, Amma replies, "Oh, I forgot the name. Was there a letter from Gopi today?" "There was. He writes every day. I am terribly upset if I don't get a letter from him every day. He knows it, that's why he writes every day." So over here you notice that actually Gopi does not write a letter every day, but Amma thinks that he writes a letter every day because Kamala tells, "Yes, Amma, he's written a letter today," and she keeps reading it. Now let's continue with the story. Look at the way she talks. We'll just turn the page, next page. Okay. So I continue from the next page. "I'm terribly upset if I don't get a letter from him every day." This is Amma telling. Next line, "He knows it. That's why he writes every day." "Look at the way she talks." Gopi's sister turned to him. "Just as I told you. You know nothing about what's going on here, do you?" So at this time in the story, Gopi's sister is trying to tell Gopi, understand what the situation is. Look at the way she is talking. She hardly remembers anything. Okay, she has no idea even who you are. She is forgetting that also. Let's continue. "Who is that?" Amma said again. Who is in who is that in the car?" So if you notice by now, Amma is asking the same question again and again in spite of getting many responses to it. "It's me," Gopi said. "I had come to Tiruvananthapuram. I thought I should drop in to see you, Amma." So the next line, "Who is your Amma? What is her name? Where does she live? Is it far from here?" Gopi responds, "No, it is quite near. I don't know how I can bring her memory back." I'm so sorry, let me read that again. "I don't know how I can bring back her memory," Gopi's sister said to him exasperatedly. Okay, so in this conversation, again, Amma is asking Gopi, uh, "Who is your Amma? What is her name? Where does she live?" So clearly, by this point, we all must understand that Amma is unable to recollect who Gopi is. She has actually forgotten him. In spite of Gopi trying to remind her many times, but still Amma is not able to remember. Let me continue. We'll turn the page. Gopi placed his briefcase on the tinna. He opened it and pulled out the contents: clothes, files, and clothes, files, comma, a shaving kit. So, in that previous line, it says that, "I don't know how I can bring back her memory," Gopi's sister said to him exasperatedly. What does that mean? Exasperated means you're irritated and frustrated. In the sense, if I try to convince someone, if I say, "This is the color of black," and that person is not ready to agree, "No, no, this is not black," he says, "This is purple," I'll tell him once, twice, third time, and if I keep on repeating this, you will notice that I get irritated, I get angry as well. So then I try to tell, like, "This is the color black." I get little irritated, and in an angry voice I try to say that. So this is what Gopi's sister tells. "I don't know how I can bring back her memory," in an exasperated voice. Gopi placed his briefcase on the tinna. He opened it and pulled out the contents: clothes, files, a shaving set. What do you mean by content? Content are the things that's there in a particular, in a book. You have the content, so that shows you what all chapters are there. So contents of a file. So what all is there in a file? Contents of a briefcase, of a luggage. So things that are there inside that particular briefcase. Moving on, let me continue reading. "Do you know my son Gopi?" Amma asked him. "He is in Delhi, a government officer. He has Kesari Yogam. He draws a salary of 2,500 rupees. Do you know him?" So Amma is asking this to Gopi. Gopi, who is actually her son. And then Gopi responds by saying, "Yes, I know him. Tell him to send me a blanket. There is a cold mist in the mornings. If I catch cold, it doesn't leave me for a long time. Tell him to send a blanket, won't you? A red one. I had a blanket, the one he brought for me when he was studying in Madras. It is all tattered now, just a ball of knotted yarn. Tell him to send me a red blanket, will you?" Okay, so this is the paragraph. So in this paragraph, you can notice Amma has a desire. Okay, she has a desire that she wanted a blanket. She wanted a blanket, and she says that there is a cold mist in the morning. What do we mean by mist? During the winter season, if we all wake up early around 4, 5 or 6, you will find a layer of a white cloudy thing, which people even refer to it as fog. Okay, that's called the mist. So Amma says that there is a cold mist in the morning, and once I catch a cold, that means like fever, if I get a cold, it takes a long time for that cold to go away. So she is requesting this person to tell Gopi, because she doesn't know that this person is Gopi. So she is requesting this person to tell Gopi that, please can you tell Gopi to send me a blanket. He had given, and that too a red one. So you notice Amma likes a red color blanket. And uh, she also refers to another thing. She tells that while Gopi was studying in Madras, while Gopi was studying in Madras, he had given her a blanket. Okay, and it is all tattered now. That means the blanket that he had given his mother when he was studying. So that could probably be, now Gopi has 4 children. So this blanket that he gifted to his mother could have been like 15, 20 years back. And the mother says it is all tattered now. That means that blanket is almost torn and it's in a very bad condition. So I'll continue reading. To this, Gopi responds, "I'll tell him." He nodded. "Please don't forget to tell him. The mist is not good for me. I think I'll stretch myself out for a bit. I have been sitting too long in the armchair. I have a pain in my neck." Gopi's sister put Amma to bed and came back to the veranda. So, after Amma explains this whole thing about the blanket, then Gopi nodded his head. What do you mean by nodded? When I do something like this, I nod my head in agreement. And she tells, please don't forget to tell him. She tells that this mist is not good for me. And after that, she is a bit tired. She's telling, I will go and stretch myself out. So what do you mean by stretching yourself out? If you sit for a long time in one place, when you stand, you generally feel like stretching yourself out. So that is what she says. I'll go and stretch myself out for a bit. I'll continue reading. Gopi's sister put Amma to bed and came back to the veranda. And then let's continue. You didn't come to see Amma, did you? So Gopi's sister is asking this to Gopi. You didn't come here to see Amma, did you? So to this Gopi responds, Delhi is too expensive. You know I have 4 children to look after. I can't make both ends meet with my salary. And one has to keep up one's status. It will be of great help if I can raise some money by selling my share of the family property. I came to talk it over with you. So, you get to know over here the reason why Gopi had actually come to Tiruvananthapuram. He says that Delhi is very expensive, which means it's a costly place to live, and he has 4 children to look after, and he says, I can't make both ends meet. So he's finding it very tough. It looks like Gopi is living on the edge. And he also says, and one has to keep up one's status. So Gopi has a status and he wants to maintain that as well. So he says that it will be it will be a great help if I can raise some money by selling my share of the family property. So this is the reason why Gopi actually comes to Tiruvananthapuram. That's what we get to understand in the story. Because before this, Kamala asked Gopi, "You didn't come to see Amma, didn't you?" Because she had a doubt he has come here for some other purpose. And in the next para, we get to see what the purpose is. Okay, the last few lines, let's continue. "You'll sell your land and go away with the money. I know you won't come here anymore after that." Gopi responds, "Don't say that. I will come when I get time. Your time." He saw the irritation on his sister's face. So if you look at these three lines, the first line says that, excuse me, if Gopi's sister tells that if you sell this land away, you will not ever come back to Tiruvananthapuram to see Amma. Then Gopi responds by saying, "Don't say that. I'll come when I get time." To which uh, Gopi's sister Kamla responds, "Your time?" It's in a very sarcastic way. So he saw the irritation on his sister's face. And look at this next line. The story is coming to an end. "It took you more than 5 years to find time to come here. Amma is 83 now. I don't think she will pull on much longer. It took you so long to visit her after the last time." So it took you more than 5 years to come. That means Gopi, the last time he met his Amma was 5 years back. Now Amma is 83. I don't think she will pull on much longer. What does that mean? So Kamla is trying to tell Gopi that she might not live much longer. Okay. Her memory is going down. She is unable to move around, which means that as people get older, they reach a point where they come to the end of their life. So she's saying, "I don't think Amma will pull on much longer," which refers to that she might not live very much longer. And she also tells, "It took you so long to visit her after the last time." To which Gopi responds, "But Amma can't remember who I am," he said, smiling feebly. Feebly means not, you don't express too much, you try to do it very softly and slowly. So I'll read this line again. "But Amma can't remember who I am," he said, smiling feebly. To this, Kamla responds, "But do you remember your Amma?" Okay, and that's how the story ends. So this last two lines has got a lot of meaning in the story. When when Gopi says, "But Amma can't remember who I am," so if your mother cannot remember you, will you not go and meet her? Isn't she your mother still? She cannot remember you, that's because of her old age. Okay. So when Gopi says something like that, "But Amma can't remember who I am sure, as far as I understand, Kamala would have gotten a little irritated. That's why she responded back by asking, "But do you remember your Amma?" Okay. So this is the whole gist of the story. If you notice, there is a lot of narration in it, there's a lot of drama, there's a lot of expressions, and this is a story about three characters where Amma is really old. You have Kamala and Gopi who are the children of Amma, and Kamala is the one who's taking care of Amma, and Gopi is working in some other place, and this discussion is all about the mother becoming old and Gopi trying to sell his family property because he's struggling to live over there. And you can notice Gopi has four children. It's not easy raising up four kids. I hope you all liked the story. Uh, you all can give me suggestions through WhatsApp group by telling me where I should improve. Do you all want me to tell it much slower? Do you want more stories or do you want more of reading? I want you all to give me more suggestions so that I can make this class more interesting and useful to you. There is nothing that I gain from explaining this to you. I want you all to understand it. So, what would be the best possible way for me to explain? I will encourage suggestions. You can talk to your class teachers, you can contact the administration, you can talk to the people in the office, or you can meet me personally as well. So please come back with your comments. What would you like me to improve? What else is needed? If you'll need more pictures and other things, I will include them. Okay. Thank you. And in the next class, I would want everyone to go through this lesson. And if you have some other words where you have doubt, please underline them, mark them. I will clarify them for you. In the next class, we will continue with this same thing. With this, after this story, there is something written about the author, and then we have some question and answers. We will go through that. Okay. Thank you, guys. Have a great day. Bye.